Hi there, and welcome back to the world of Excel VBA coding. We are about to explore the if statement. I am not sure I have written any code without using if statements. It is that important. You will use this when you need the code to make a decision on what you want it to do. So let's VBA. For this video, I will be using my financial planner database. This file is the most complicated coding I have done to date, and one day I will do a series of videos on how I created it. But for now, we are just going to use the data I have entered into the test system. Go ahead and open the VBA editor, and let's insert a new module. We need to insert a new sub, and we will call this sub simple if. And I like to add my note in to kind of show what I'll be doing here. We're going to be looking at sheet 13, which is our budget sheet, to see what budget items we have that are over $100. We see this in column B. Since we want to look at each budget item in column B, we're going to need a simple for next loop. So let's start out. We'll dim I as integer, and then dim last row as long. Now we're working with sheet 13, so let's do with sheet 13 and with. Now we're going to define last row equals dot cells, rows dot count. I'm going to use column 1 as my reference for how many rows it's going to count down. Dot end, Excel up, dot row. Now, I have a full video on finding the last row. You can go to my channel and find it if you want more information on this. For our for next loop, we are simply going to say for I equals 2 to last row. Now, I say I equals 2 because when we look over here at our data sheet, we don't want to include our header. So we want to start with row 2. So that's where that goes. And it'll go all the way down to the last row. Now I always go ahead and put in my next I, just so I don't forget it, because I have a tendency to do that. Now that we have our loop set up, we can play around with our if statements. Let's add if dot cells I comma 2. And I'm going to say I comma 2 because that's going to be, I is going to be our row number. And then we're looking in the B column, so that's column 2. If that is greater than $100, which we just need to put 100, then that is the start of your if statement. Now go ahead and add your end if. Trust me on this one, as you start getting these more complicated, it's easy to forget the end if, and then you have an error when you try to run the code. Now, in order to see what this is going to result in, I'm going to do a debug.print. And we're going to do dot cells I comma 2 because we want to see what is in those cells. And that is going to show down here in your immediate window. And just a reminder, if you can't see the immediate window, go to View to Immediate Window, and this will then show up. Now we're going to go ahead up here and click Run. And you will see when we look down here at our results, we are getting everything that is over $100. We only had one entry that was 100. We can easily change our operator if we want to change our results. Let's say we want to see all cell values that are less than $900. Then we can go here and change this to less than and change this to 900. I'm going to clear out my immediate window and hit run, and you can see all the values are now less than $900. What if we want to return results that are less than or equal to $900? All we need to do is add an equal sign after the less than sign and run it again. And now you'll see the results also include 900. Using if statements with multiple criteria brings you to the next level of what you can do with these. Let's say we want to know what budget items are greater than $100 but less than $900. We use our same code as we did before, but we add an extra operator. I'm just going to copy and paste our last code and then change the name to more ifs. I'm very creative today. I will also change my note so that I can continue to know what I'm doing. Now we're going to change our criteria to greater than 100 and dot cells I comma 2 are less than 900. Now, please note you do have to put the full cell reference here because you could change this and have it reference another cell if you wanted to. When we run this, you will see that all of the numbers listed here are greater than 100 and less than 900. This one uses the AND operator, but you can also use the OR operator. Let's say we want the results to either be less than or equal to $100 or greater than and equal to $900. We just change our code a little like this to where it's less than or equal to $100. We change this to OR. And this will change to greater than or equal to 900. Once again, I'm going to clear out my immediate window. I'm going to run this again, and you will see right here, we have only results that are less than or equal to 100 or greater than or equal to 900. We have been looking at your basic if statements, but there's so much more to this code and the decisions we can have it make. Let's add in an else statement. We now want to check if our budget values in each cell are equal to $200. If not, then we want to return a message. We continue to use basically the same code, so I will copy and paste it. And then I'll change the name to else ifs. Again, real creative. I am going to go ahead and change my note. This is just a good habit to be in, and I try really hard to keep up with this as I'm going through this. For the first if statement, we want to make it equal to $200. So we're going to say if dot cells I comma 2 equal $200. And I'm going to get rid of this or statement. And I'm going to add a message box to pop up with the result. So we'll say message box. This cell equals $200, close quotes. Well, if it doesn't equal $200, I want it to do something. So I'm going to put an else statement in here, and it's else with a colon. And I will add another message box. So if it doesn't equal $200, I want it to have a message box that simply says this cell doesn't equal $200. So basically it's saying if it equals $200, it's going to give me this message, but if not, it's going to hop down here and give me this message. So let's go ahead and run it. So see, the first cell does not equal $200, so we get that message. The next cell does, so we get that message. And it's going to continue on like this, giving you your messages. We can take this one step further and add in an else if statement. With this one, we want to know if the cell equals $200. If it doesn't, then we want to check if the cell value is greater than or equal to $900. And if that condition isn't met, then we're going to give a final message. We will add in the else if and code it just like an if statement. So I'm going to enter here, and I like to keep everything aligned, just it helps me kind of keep up. So we're going to type else if dot cells I comma 2 are greater than or equal to 900, then. So it's written just like our if statement. We just happen to have an else if. Then we'll do another message box that says this cell is greater than or equal to $900. Then I'll go ahead and kind of tweak this last message box to show what our results are. So this cell doesn't meet either of your criteria. Now let's actually debug this code so you can see how it handles each statement. We'll go up here to the top and click Debug, Step Into, and we're going to be clicking F8 to go line by line so you can just kind of see how it handles it. So it goes into the code and it goes to the first if statement. Now we're looking at this cell right here, cell B2, I2. Now that equals 2000, so it's going to skip that first one. And it comes down here and says, okay, is it greater than or equal to 900? The answer that's yes. So it pops up the second message. Then it jumps all the way down to the end if, and it goes to the next cell, which does equal 200. So we get the next message. And we continue on and on like this. Next one equals 200. The next one equals 900. And then it's going to go to 200 again. But then the next one, the next cell is equal to 300. So it's going to skip that one. And it's going to skip that one because it doesn't meet the criteria. And it's going to end up on this last one. It doesn't meet either one of the criteria. And we can continue on like this till we finish out our data. We can get even crazier with these if statements and add an if statement embedded in an if statement. We want to add in another parameter that if the cell value is greater than or equal to 900 but doesn't equal 200, then it returns another message. We will embed an if statement like this. We're going to come down here to where it's the greater than or equal to 900 and we'll get a message. But then we're going to say if dot cells I comma 2 do not equal, that's your less than and greater than sign together means not equal, 2000. Then I automatically put my end if I can type, message box, this cell doesn't equal 2000. Now we can debug this one again. And once again, we're going to go through this code. And you'll see this cell is greater than 900. And it keeps going. It equals 200. And then we get to the next one. And then it jumps to this embedded if. So if it doesn't equal 2000, which it doesn't, it's going to hop onto that one. So yeah, there's a lot of different things you can do with the embedded ifs. I always recommend, though, putting that end if in there automatically because the more you embed, the more likely you are to forget the end if, and it'll throw an error, and you'll take forever trying to figure out where the error is when it's actually just you're missing an end if. So that's the basics of if statements. I hope you have learned to love the if statement because you're going to use it often. You really do need to master this one. Thank you for hanging with me, and be sure to like this video and subscribe to my channel for more Excel VBA tutorials. Leave me a message in the comments section if you have any questions or topic suggestions, or you just want to say hi. Thanks and have a great day.